Back to the days when the snacks were as iconic as the game. It's game time.
Hello everyone, welcome to Miami Cooking. I'm Azita, and it's game day, and today we're kicking it back to the 90s with some nostalgic recipes that a lot of us grew up with. Let's get started. Our first recipe is a Pop-Tart. Don't forget to get a screenshot. First, we'll begin with store-bought pie dough. I recommend using something rectangular, like a container top, in order to get a proper shape. Then you're going to run the tip of a knife around to make your cut. You're going to need 2 rectangular cuts in order to make the top and bottom of your Pop-Tart. Now, when you're done doing the 2 shapes, do not throw away your scraps. I'll show you what you can do with this a bit later. Next, we're going to cut up about 8 ounces of strawberries. And we're going to add all of this to a pot. I recommend you start on a medium heat and slowly escalate the heat in order for the strawberries to release their juices. And we can gently start to smash these as they start cooking to speed up our process. Next, we're going to add 1/8 of a teaspoon of cinnamon and 1 teaspoon of lemon juice. Now, for this next part, here's my little secret to getting a brighter and completely natural color to my Pop-Tart filling. I like to add 1 to 2 tablespoons of freeze-dried strawberries, but please keep in mind this can give the filling a more tart taste, so heed with caution, do not overdo it. And it's time to blend this, so there's no clumpy parts. We want to make sure we get a really nice smooth texture. Now, once we remove our jam from the heat, we'll wait until it's just slightly warm to add 1/4 of a teaspoon of vanilla extract. Next, we're going to prepare an egg wash, and we're going to add jam to one of our rectangular pie doughs. Then we're going to use our egg wash to brush the other rectangle and the edges of the pie dough with the jam. And we'll place that fully egg washed dough on top of the one with jam. To perfect the outer borders of your dough, you can use a knife to place pressure on the edges. Before placing this in the oven, I recommend you do a slight egg wash on the top and bottom of your Pop-Tart, and lastly, make some punctures in order to let the steam come out. Alright, remember I told you not to get rid of those scraps of dough? We're going to roll it into a ball and flatten it out as much as we can to make deep-fried mini Pop-Tarts. We're going to stuff these with about a teaspoon of jam each, and we're going to fold the sides over with our fingers. For frying, I recommend using a high smoke point oil, and we're going to add our dough once bubbles appear around my chopstick. That means it's ready to put in. We're going to let this fry for 2 minutes, then flip and cook another 2 minutes. We're looking for a slightly golden consistency. Once they're ready, I recommend placing these on a paper towel to help soak up all the grease. For our regular size Pop-Tart, I recommend you follow the package instructions and wait until the pastry has a hint of golden color to it. For the icing, you'll need 8 tablespoons of powdered sugar, 2 teaspoons of corn syrup, 1 teaspoon of water, and 1 to 2 drops of vanilla extract. And you're going to mix this all up until you get a smooth consistency. It's time to spread that nice and smooth icing on top of our Pop-Tart and our mini fried Pop-Tarts. If we're going for that vibrant commercial-like look, it's important to have different pops of colors and textures. Here I ground up a teaspoon of freeze-dried strawberries and sprinkled the powder onto the Pop-Tart. Next, I individually placed the sprinkles to fill in any gaps. For plating, I recommend adding extra sprinkles on the sides. Now it's time for the moment of truth. Let's take a look at what this looks like on the inside. Take a look at that vibrant red color, thanks to the freeze-dried strawberries. This was all so delicious. Up next, a dip that probably half the country grew up with. And I'm going to teach you how to make your own tortilla chips. Velveeta cheese and rotel. For this recipe, we'll only need about 16 ounces, which is half of one of these. And to speed up the cooking time, we're going to chop these into 1-inch cubes. Now, there's 2 cooking methods for this. You can cook it on a stovetop, or you can do it the fast way in the microwave. First, place your cheese cubes into a large bowl. Then, dunk the entire can of Rotel. And you're going to microwave this for 2 minutes at a time, mixing in between and checking on it until the cubes have completely lost their shape. Ultimately, it should turn into this color with a nice, smooth consistency. Now for our freshly made tortilla chips. You're going to grab 3 to 4 tortillas at a time and slice into fours. You can do more cuts, but the bigger the chip, the more cheese it can grab. Now, once again, for frying, you want to use an oil with a high smoke point. However, I would use a more shallow container for this. You don't need a lot of oil, just a very thin layer. To ensure that your oil's hot enough, you can use the trick from earlier, using a wooden spoon or chopstick to look for tiny bubbles as they form. And now we're going to add our tortillas gently into the oil. Be careful and avoid any splatters. You'll know exactly when to flip these because they'll slightly puff up in the middle and the edges will darken a tiny bit. Once they look just a slightly bit golden, start to remove them and place them on a paper towel. This will help drain all the extra oil. To plate this, I recommend sprinkling kosher salt onto your chips and placing your Velveeta dip in a nice serving bowl or mortar. To garnish, you can add 1 cilantro leaf on top of your cheese. And there you have it, a delicious 90s cheese dip with fresh tortilla chips. Up next, another classic favorite, a Hot Pocket. First, we'll shred a total of 7 ounces of mozzarella cheese. We'll need about 5 ounces for stuffing and another 2 ounces for the topping at the end. Now, I'm shredding my own cheese so that it has a thicker, gooier consistency. Pre-shredded bags usually have caking agents that don't give it that thick texture. For the pepperoni, you can buy pre-sliced or you can cut it up yourself. If that's the case, you'll need about 4 ounces. I like cutting mine into little small cubes. It reminds me of Totino's pizza rolls or bagel bites for that 90s feel. Next, we're going to prepare an egg wash. And we're going to follow the same exact process we did with the Pop-Tarts, using a rectangular shape as a guide to make our pie cuts. It's time to start filling our Hot Pockets with a pizza sauce, cheese, and pepperoni. I recommend mixing the cheese and pizza sauce evenly. This ensures a thicker and more cohesive feeling and prevents leaking or your dough getting soggy. Now we can do our egg wash on the empty pie dough and we can place it gently on top of the other one. You can then create a seal with a fork tip along the edges. And we're going to do an egg wash at the top and bottom of our Hot Pocket. But let's not forget to poke some holes to help the steam come out as this cooks in the oven, according to the packaged instructions. And just like our Pop-Tart recipe, we're going to roll out our extra scraps of dough to make mini Hot Pockets. The main difference here is that we're not going to use an egg wash because we'll be frying this. Once our oil's hot, we're going to fry these for 2 minutes on each side until they get a nice golden color. Look at that bubbling cheese. For plating your Hot Pocket, I recommend topping it with cheese and diced pepperoni, and adding some flakes of oregano and a side of pizza sauce for extra dipping. And now, the Choco Taco. For this recipe, we'll begin by adding 2 drops of water to a small plate. Then we'll place our pizzelle on top and leave it in the microwave for 15 seconds. Please keep in mind that your microwave might need less time. Some are good with just 10 seconds. What you're looking for is a softer, moldable shape. As you can see, I used the bottom of a muffin pan to help these keep their shape. While that's hardening, we're going to chop up some peanuts. You'll need about 1/4 of a cup of these, but that also depends on how much you love peanuts. Next, you should be able to fit about 1 to 2 scoops per little taco. In this case, I use vanilla, but you can use any flavor you like. So apparently there's some debate online on whether the peanuts go under the chocolate or over. I tried it both ways, and I say go for double. Do over and under. But you let me know what you prefer in the comments. Now, on medium heat, we're going to place 1 cup of chocolate and 2 tablespoons of coconut oil. I use dark chocolate here.
The coconut oil will help the chocolate become firm once it cools. And we're going to stir this until we get a nice smooth consistency. Now, important note here, hot chocolate can burn, so I recommend keeping your taco on the muffin pan and using a spoon to drip the chocolate until it's fully covered. Then you can top this with peanuts, sprinkles, or the topping of your choice. And there you have it, the Choco Taco. Be sure to check out my other Super Bowl content, like my wings and chocolate-covered chips. And don't forget to subscribe and follow me on TikTok and Instagram. Bye!